Let me tell you something about being in alignment and not knowing that you're being in alignment until you find out that you're in alignment. If that makes sense. So last week, I decided that I was going to lock in on my business without saying I'm going to lock in on my business. I was like, I'm going to focus between September 1st and New Year's Eve. Sat down and got on ChatGPT, made a business plan. Well, not a business plan, but I made a plan to knock out these goals between now and New Year's Eve. And I wanted to be super focused about it. I already prayed about it, asking God for confirmation, all of these things. And lo and behold, I get on social media yesterday and see all these people online talking about the great lock-in of 2025, only to find out they're talking about the same dates. How crazy is that? Now they're talking about different things for their health or their fashion or your eating habits or anything really, but for me personally, it's about my business. So, what exactly made me make this decision for myself? Mm, well, if just in case you were wondering, I'm going to tell you. September 2024, the ground started to shake under my feet, y'all, just a little bit. And I started to face my patterns and how I was moving, and it got more intense by the month. Like September 2024 to September 2025 has been a ride. I am not the same person that I was last year. However, my biggest fear last year, although in love, deeply in love, I was afraid of losing myself because I felt like I had done that in the past and I did not want to do it again. But between September 2024 and September 2025, I did lose myself. So looking back on it now, I realize it was intended for me to lose myself because I lost the version of me that operated from pain, from childhood wounds, from adult wounds, from survival mode, who did the best that she could with what she had, but did not have enough clarity and enough faith, if that makes sense. So my biggest fear was realized. And when I say the ground shook under my feet, the ground shook under my feet in a way that it had never shook before. I was also battling a broken consciousness. And even though I was trying to fix certain things, they were surface level things. And I had not taken the time to get to the root of what it was for me to be able to fix it. And I can honestly say that there's, first of all, healing is a lifelong journey. I'm going to say that right now. Second of all, the biggest roots that I have processed, I don't know, like, how can I say this? My biggest core wounds I had to come face to face with this year. And even though it was scary, even though it was hard, even though it was difficult, even though it hurt like a mother, I did it. I did it. I'm still walking through it. I'm still, still making my way. But however, I am in a much better place than what I was before. Now that is the flat out truth. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Getting to the root, y'all. Like when I say everything was plucked, everything was plucked. I think in February, I told my cousin that I felt like God was even pulling up like little pieces of grass and little tiny pebbles out the dirt. And it was like blowing my mind. I just felt like I didn't have nothing left, not knowing that I had bigger things coming down the line that I was going to have to face and process. And then I had my other sister cousin, God rest her soul, that told me that I was in a season of harvest, not knowing I had just talked about how fresh the soil was with me. And then she started talking to me about doing affirmations and things like that. And I feel like she would have some positive things to say right now, you know? Anyway, let's keep moving along. So, yeah, getting to the root helped me start to work on little surface things that are kind of big surface things, but not as big as the core wound. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I had all these little these things that were finally coming together, and I finally realized that I deserve to be me, you know, and to not feel bad about being me. Um, However you want to take that, be your authentic self. Don't worry about what nobody got to say about you. So now that I've gotten all these revelations and I've seen these patterns around me, and I'm realizing, Centrisa, you're taking part in things that are affecting your day-to-day life. I've said this in a previous video. It was affecting how I operate my business. It's affecting how I dealt in relationships, in friendships, across the board, family relationships, like the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. Deuces, boo. I'm not. Start popping off with those patterns around me. And to show my age real quick, my name is Bennett and I ain't what? I'm not in it. So my latest revelation, because I have a lot of them, like I journal these things. And if God is talking to you and God is walking you through your healing journey, I urge you to get a journal and a good pen and you write this stuff down, because you don't want to forget the lesson and have to repeat the lesson. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, my latest revelation, which was last week, I realized that, and this was a big one too, because I could feel it in my chest. It runs deep, like it was crazy. But I started to unpack micro habits, macro habits, micro trust, macro trust. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been a person that could have like big, big goals. When I first left home, I had all these grand ideas, all these grand visions, you know, all these things I wanted to do, but I would be in my apartment and I would cry because I couldn't figure out how to get from A to Z. Now, I completely understand today that the big vision at the end was a macro, said it backwards. It was a macro thing, result of micro habits. So if I do the little things every day, then it would help to create the big system to get to the big goal. And then the other thing was macro trust and micro trust. So I would have big faith in God, big faith in the vision that He gave me, big faith in moving to Charlotte, big faith in my answered prayer. You know what I'm talking about. So, but the micro faith and the micro trust in the day-to-day things to get better, to have that mustard seed faith, I struggled with more than I realized. And because I struggled with the micro things, when somebody would tell me they're going to do something, you could tell me you're going to call me. You could tell me you're going to come visit. You could tell me we're going to go get something to eat. You could tell me you're going to do something for me. You could tell me you're going to bless me. And if it don't happen, I am crushed. I am upset. I go back into survival mode. I put up walls the size of Fort Knox. I go into hypervigilance and hyper independence. But I'm still operating in survival mode. So I'm just exhausted. I'm upset. I'm like, I wasted my time, because I would literally shut down what I was doing. and wait. And now I feel like I blew opportunities or time that I can't get back, because time is the one thing that's the most expensive on this earth, and you're not going to be able to get that back. So I was like, Centrisa, why are you upset, girl? Like, why are you upset? Let's get to the root of it. And again, that's where the micro and macro came from. And that brought me down to being promised things in my childhood, and the promise was being broken, but I was constantly being told that things were going to happen and they were not going to happen. And then when they didn't happen, it was my fault. Or I was lying and it wasn't said. Excuse me. So fast forward into adulthood and you still carrying that same thing. So now that I'm aware of it and I've journaled it and I've talked to the Lord about it, and He's showing me how deep this thing runs, because it ties into feeling safe, feeling wanted, feeling cared for, feeling seen, feeling validated, and not abandoned. You know? So then I was like, all right, Century, so how you gonna fix this? How you gonna fix this, girl? How you gonna fix this? So I decided, Century, so it's time for you to build more trust in yourself, because you have to trust your decisions that you're making. You have to trust who you are as a person. You have to trust that you're smart enough, that you're capable enough to continue to grow as a woman, y'all, and to continue to be a better businesswoman, and to shed the weight of that, to feel the validation in yourself, to be able to trust yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Hold yourself accountable like you holding everybody else accountable, because it make you not trust nobody. And that's not cool. And then I was like, okay, Centrisa, so you have to be able to learn how to trust God a lot more than what you're doing too, because you're trusting God with the big things. And you trust God with some little things, some, but not all. So how are you going to make this work? So that is when I decided that I was going to lock in between September and New Year's Eve. And I set a goal and I sat down and wrote these habits out. And I've already been working on systems all year. So I'm like, okay, I understand what systems are. I understand who I am and why I have these certain habits and things that I was doing that I don't like. So how do we fix that? How do you become softer? How do you find a balance between trusting what people say, but still plugging along on your own thing? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up on the, what are they calling it? The great, oh Lord, I don't forgot the name of it. That's how I ended up on the great lock-in, y'all. That's how I ended up on the great lock-in, because I made this decision last week that we're not doing this no more. You deserve to trust you. So let's see what it's going to look like if you trust you for 4 months straight. No negativity, no letting anything that is not like God or not like yourself, that's going to bring any darkness to you, that's going to cause a delay or anything like that. Let's see what it's like if you put all that stuff to the side and you just continue to build your systems between home and business, personal and work, and see where you end up by New Year's Eve. God knows I had no idea they were calling this the Great Lock-In. So it blew my mind when I saw that last night. Not really blow my mind, but I was like, huh, what is this? Oh, other people are doing this? Girl, you in alignment for real. Look at the Lord showing you that you're on the right track. Now I'm going to pause right here and let you guys know that there are a few people, very small group of people in my life, who stand 10 toes on what they say they're going to do and when they're going to do it and how they're going to do it. And to you, I say thank you. I love you. You made me feel safe. I have felt seen. I have felt protected. One in particular I call an avenger and an answered prayer. And I am grateful for that person too, more than anybody could ever know. Now, working on the micro and the macro faith, the micro and the macro habits, the micro and the macro truths is literally the scripture faith without works is dead in real time. And having the faith of a mustard seed and being able to tell that mountain, be thou removed in real time. Like, y'all, come on now. Think about it. Think about it. So, this is pretty much how I ended up on the Great Lock In 2025 without knowing that everybody else was doing it too. But this is just a testament of my relationship with God growing and being attuned and aligned and doing what He says to do and trusting myself enough to know when God speaks. And trusting myself in this great lock in to build more trust and faith in myself and to just move and just flow and just be. It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. And today is September 2nd. So here we are out the gate. Now, good luck and congratulations to everybody who is on this journey in their own way. I'm glad that there's a community of people who are taking part in this and they are supporting each other. And just remember while you're working that to give yourself grace. That's one of the biggest things I've learned this year is to give myself grace. You know, it's okay to mess up. You don't have to be perfect. And a lot of times that perfection comes from something negative anyway. But also remember that you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. And remember, elephants are pretty big. Unless you got a little tiny, tiny elephant like an animal cracker. And even with that, you just one bite at a time, you know? Take your time, but stay focused. And I'm excited to see what it's going to look like come New Year's Eve for everybody who's doing this. And I'm more excited to see what it's going to look like for myself. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. I'm out.